Good morning, everyone. Hello and welcome to our 2026 Sapia.ai showcase. Thank you so much for joining us. We are so excited about the conversation today and to host you all in this forum. So, reminder, house rules, we've got the chat so you can ask questions as you move through. Unfortunately, we don't get to see your wonderful spaces. So, Devon and I are adjusting to chatting to the webinar abyss. So absolutely pump the chat. We want your questions and your feedback as we move through as well. So you're joined today by myself and Devon. So I'm Kat. I've been at Sapia for almost 5 years now. So I've seen the product really transform in that time and really grow arms and legs across the hiring cycle, which has been really exciting. And my focus as a solutions architect is really bringing all the pieces of the puzzle together from both the science and the AI side, but also the actual product and the tooling. And really, I spend my time thinking about how does the innovation unlock new opportunities for the hiring cycle? And really, what does this mean for the changing space of talent acquisition? You're joined by Devon, who's our senior product manager, and he works really closely with our product and engineering teams. So he's deeply involved in shaping the features and experiences that you'll see later today. So you really have the two halves of the coin. I'm very much the blue sky in the concepts and abstract, and then you've got Devon who really delivers and brings that to life. So you've got best of both. But not only us on the call today. So you're also joined by a really incredible group of talent acquisition leaders and contributors who we are really proud to call our partners. So, thank you so much for being on the journey. You've really helped shape the solution to where it is today. And hopefully beyond as well. So just thank you so much for taking the time to join us. It really means the world. In terms of today's session, it's really about giving you a window into what is next at Sapia. I'll be starting off the first half of today with more of an overview of the space. What are the big shifts that are changing hiring and talent? How is that informing our strategy and the direction? What's keeping me up at night? All the principles and what's shaping our roadmap? What are we navigating? And then the second half of the session, I'll hand over to Devon, who will do a deep dive into the actual new products and showcase some of the new features that we've recently launched this year. It's been a big one. And also what is coming soon as 2026 is around the corner. So, heaps to get excited about. In terms of our journey at Sapia, we really see ourselves and hold us to account as responsible innovators. We recognize that the opportunities and leaps forward that unlock with AI are really incredible, but so is the responsibility that comes with developing it and using it and adopting it. There is a lot of risk involved, and we need to make sure that the solutions can be trusted. And really, when you're using them, we want you to feel that in every interaction. So you'll see that come to life later today, especially in the context of people decisions and hiring. It's even more important that we have that rigor and robustness around our AI and our solutions as well. In terms of our journey, we've been conducting AI structured interviews for 8 years now, and have just clocked over 8 million of them. So we've done them across a number of different role types and languages and clients. And now we have the largest contextual data set for interviews. So it means that our data is really in the specific use case of scoring and evaluating interview responses. So a lot of the AI that's coming out has been really quick to market, but a lot of it is general LLMs and general data. But really, what's critical to us is that we are using grounded in science and peer-reviewed evidence-based data to inform our models around hiring decisions as well. So we've really continued to lead from the front, and we see that as two things. It's not just about advancing what's possible for skills profiling and selecting the right role. Absolutely, that's what we do. But the other part of that is setting a standard for how AI should be applied responsibly in hiring. Tech is changing so fast, and we're all seeing that the governance and legislation is chasing to catch up. So for us, it's really been around driving the industry forward for a long time. We've established a lot of governance frameworks with our FAIR framework, and we really continue to contribute to establishing the standards in the space. And I hope that you've all felt that and feel really trusted by the opportunity and responsibility that you give to us as your talent intelligence partners as well. So, while much of the conversation today is, yes, about AI, of course, and we are an AI company, at our core, we are a people company. And it's reflected both of those things in our name. Sapia beautifully derives from Homo sapiens, and it's completely central to our philosophy. We are really built for people, powered by intelligence. It's who we are, the meeting of the two. And we really see that intersection of humans and technology where we need to intentionally design. So everything we create and we innovate has to be with the human at the heart of that experience and really be to serve the highest good of the individual. And I really hope you see that coming to life today as our philosophy starts to birth into these new products that you'll see. In terms of how do we ensure that from not just a sentiment, but actual principles that drive our development, it's really captured by these six principles as we navigate and push forward down this journey. In terms of innovation, it means we have to constantly reimagine what's possible for both our candidates and our hiring teams and what intelligence is unlocking. It's really been part of our journey. We've done a few radical things that felt radical at the time and now feel really normal. In terms of moving to chat, we're one of the only players that have moved to a chat assessment or birth that for quite some time, removing barriers like making it untimed, giving candidate feedback. There was a lot of nerves in market about doing that, but we felt really strongly, and now it's one of the most loved features of that. And we continue to innovate around surfacing intelligence and making it explainable in the best way that we can. In terms of fairness, we don't see that as optional. It's a critical requirement that every outcome is equitable and it's free from bias. And we really see an interesting time in market right now where tech has an opportunity to amplify bias or remove it. So it's really critical in our model development and our data sources that we are not amplifying the human parts that we may be magical, but we're inherently biased. So the tech is really how do we remove that and surface different touch points in the recruitment funnel so we can all see where bias is appearing and really use technology to remove to show that and remove that. In terms of ethical AI, again, that feeds in through fairness and really every part of our model development process from ensuring the actual sources of the data are relevant, they're contextual, they reflect our broader population. It really goes into every kind of mechanism along that journey. There is our team really having conversations around ethics and what's right, as well as our research being robustly tested by the organizational scientists and our peers as well. We don't operate in a vacuum, so it's really making sure that our science is really grounded in that as well. In terms of the human connection, which is at the heart of everything we do, in volume recruitment, it's really hard to manage our volumes and we have to introduce technology. While we would love to have a one-to-one chat with all of our candidates, it's just not a reality. But every score that we see coming through our system represents a human on the other side of that. And tech really can allow us to make a pretty great two-way experience for every single candidate that moves through our process. And we really keep that in mind when we've designed the chat interview experience in partnership with you. How do we bring your brand to life? How do we make it developmental for them as well? Candidate love is really core to what we do. And how do we make sure that every candidate has a great experience, whether they're successful or not in getting a role? In terms of the science, again, so it's really the analysis that we are making our decisions on are evidence-based and validated because we have to be confident that if we are assessing someone's skills profile and making these conclusions about someone, it needs to be objective and grounded in fact, for us to really feel trust in that. And then lastly, agency. We believe that the advancements in technology can really give everyone agency. So for our candidates, they should feel like they gain more understanding about themselves and more insights and ultimately more confident. And we see that in the feedback that comes through the My Insights feedback as well. It's really what keeps us going. We're constantly slacking each other when the good ones come through. But we really feel like at the heart of what we do is make people understand themselves. And to unlock that is really magic and take a recruitment experience that's really quite vulnerable and make it something that's really empowering. Um, get emotional talking about that. Whoa, getting way too excited, Devin. I can just see you. And then from a hiring team, we really want to give you guys agency as well. We want every recruiter and hiring manager to feel like they're being surfaced this powerful insights and can quickly understand people in a way that is fair and robust so that you have more confidence in the decisions that you're making and you can be more informed as you manage talent. People are variables, and I can only imagine how tricky it is at time to make those decisions. So to be able to surface intelligence that gives you that confidence and robustness is real agency and really empowerment as well. So that's what's on our mind as we navigate forward from Sapia. But if we zoom out a bit around what is actually shaping our product strategy, there's a few levels to that. So at the most broad level, if we think about what's really changing everything at the moment, it has to be generative AI. And I think this is the biggest leap that we've seen in technology for a really long time. What's fascinating is that AI has already been in our ecosystems for such a long time and for our clients as well who've been using Sapia, but it's really been more in the data side. We've really had AI making sense of this complex data and sophisticated uh, data engine to surface all these insights. So it's been there and been doing the heavy lift. But generative AI has essentially made AI feel like it can talk and agents that it can act. It feels it's just a different world now. And really it's changing our expectations. We've been in the chat game for a really long time. So we're a bit like, okay, welcome to the chat game. But really, chat is the interface for everything now and really the new world of work. We all want to communicate what we need from our tools in natural language. And I want it surfaced to me in the same way or a different way because I can tell it to do that. And so really the chat is how all technology is morphing in many ways. So that's been really fascinating and we'll touch on that a little bit later as it really unlocks a lot of new products for us to deliver to you through a chat interface. But the other big change that we see is now we feel like we can create AI that really explains itself. So every single decision that is surfaced to you, it should actually be explained how it got there and how the model actually made that reasoning. And you'll see that today when we share our evolution to the Talent Insights report. Hopefully you love and use it a lot. It's almost gone 2.0 with some of that innovation, but really we want every hiring decision, we want you to be that human in the loop and see how the model came to those conclusions. So you'll see that really in practice later today. If we move on to the next click down, so obviously generative AI is unlocking opportunities for all technology. But if we think about specifically in the context of talent intelligence, we really see it as three layers of value. And really this informs our direction of travel for our product as well. So the baseline has really been automation. The baseline that we implement tools really because it's the only way we can handle volume and achieve speed and consistency in that process. So a lot of the tooling has solved for automation as the baseline. And as we start to move up that value chain, the next is illuminate. So we've already started on this journey. How do we illuminate what the data is capturing to reveal patterns and insights and behaviors around the decisions we're making for both candidates, hiring teams, and also organizations? So for candidates, it's helping them to understand themselves through that data. And for hiring teams, it brings that explainability and insights to decisions. But where we see the next level of that and the top is elevate. We're at the point now where technology can truly empower people. And the vision and kind of direction for us is for candidates, we've helped them to understand themselves and their potential. But now we can start to go beyond that. How do we provide coaching? How do we provide mobility? How do we give them guidance and help them to not only understand themselves, but even further direct them to roles? And you'll see some of that coming through later today. And then for hiring and recruitment teams, it's the same. It's how do we not only give them decision making, but help them to interrogate the data, ask more questions through natural language, and really give them further agency as well. In terms of the other space that is shaping what we do, so we've kind of covered the more macro level of what's changing, but at the micro and the core of our world, it's really hearing from our customers and understanding your pain points, your challenges, as well as opportunities for us to bring more intelligence to different pockets of your world. And it's really these insights that define our problem statements to solve. In terms of the core themes that we are hearing from our customers, we're still hearing about CV overload. So with AI, candidates are creating many more CVs. So we're seeing volume go up, but we're seeing quality come down. And again, it's really diluting an artifact of the CV that we already know is quite flawed and not really giving us what we need to find the right skills and talent. Where we have our clients and many of you using Sapia, a lot of that automation and screening and moving towards skills is already happening, but you may not be using Sapia in all of your organizations. It may be more around volume roles, and you'll see later today how we're expanding more up the chain to provide solutions for more sophisticated roles as well. In terms of matching, a lot of work and hiring is still done on matching, and it's really not sophisticated enough because matching based on just keywords may surface a direct match for talent, but it misses all of the secondary candidates who have the right skills and potential in a different context or because they didn't use the right words for the AI to find. So matching, we're kind of matching on an AI CV and then AI keywords. The concept of that is not fit for purpose of what we need when we think about people and skills. We're also hearing that job descriptions are quite underbaked. We're hearing that it's difficult at the point of the job description to truly understand what the success profile is for that role. It's a key artifact that starts every single hiring process, but it's one that we don't always know how to ensure the robustness in that process. And you'll see today, probably our most excited, well, personally, our most excited innovation is Jazz. So you'll see how we're solving for that directly, as well as the fourth one around the need to contextualize. Every team and role is unique. Every hiring manager has nuances and critical things that make their hire different to the next one. So there's a real challenge of how you balance role specific customization with also keeping consistency across the organization as well and the tension of that. There's also a need to scale trust. Most hiring teams are, or many of them, are decentralized. So we're seeing either that there's so many hiring managers in the process, or maybe there's hiring managers who are only touching recruitment once in a blue moon. So, how do you ensure that you're building consistent, trusted processes when there's people coming in and out, or maybe it's diluted across a team? It really has to come from your tooling. So, that's been heavy on our mind as well around adoption for that. And then the last one is skills-based hiring. So we know that the roles today are super different from the roles tomorrow, but what will underpin the roles is the transferable skills. So we're starting to shift to skills-based hiring as a way for us objectively to understand the skills in our organization and do workforce planning and talent pathways based on the people rather than the roles, which can actually be quite rigid when we think about moving talent and optimizing talent as well. So, with all that in mind, we've kind of covered the macro and the micro and all the things that Devin and I debate, and again, keeps me up at night. But where do we see this from grounding it into a future hiring model? And what does that really look like for Sapia? This visualization here is really our vision for the future hiring model. And how do we see the different components and moments of hiring super hypercharged by your data and the intelligence, and really surfacing that to you and helping to power all those moments on the journey. So this really captures our strategic direction, and as I bring it to life, you'll see that some of our products today already solve for some of those six components, and some you wouldn't have seen us play in before. And the products that we're developing, and I'll show you in a moment, really start to push into some new areas of this model, which is super exciting. So if we think about, we start at the top around define. So at the moment, chat interview, if we think about where it is, it comes at the point that you're ready to assess people for a role. But define is taking it a step up the chain, and we want to help you to actually define effectively the skills blueprint for the role. How do we make sure that we give you robustness and tooling to know the DNA? Once we've defined that, we can now measure against that. And that's where our very much loved chat interview helps you to measure that objectively at scale, as well as talent insights as the report to help you decide that through the recommendations. We also play around manage and how we bring tooling like live interview to help you navigate the nightmare that is scheduling, as well as start to build out some features beyond scheduling. How do you make sure that the pre and post experience of an interview is really great for the candidate as well as the hiring manager, and surfacing the right insights to them? And then diagnose, we've been playing in with Discover Insights, which is our reporting capability. You'll see that today that it's also had a 2.0 version. We've been really busy. And so you'll see that Diagnose really is how do we surface and give you complete transparency in real time of what's moving through your funnel, so you can deeply understand and also inform your process and your strategy and all your workforce intelligence through that. And then lastly is activate. So this is new for us. We are now thinking about, if we have your all this data and you have all these candidates in your ecosystem and all these silver medalists, how do we activate that? How do we help you to find them and mine that data? And rather than continuously sourcing and going back to market, how do we actually just activate this deep depth of talent that you already have? And really, that's possible through the data moat that we're collecting with you. So through this whole Sapia journey, we're capturing all this context about your organization and your teams and your roles and your people. So you can imagine that not only the loop becomes more sophisticated and powerful, but it becomes more intelligent to your worlds and your nuance. And ultimately, that is our vision. But if we think about our why, it's really this whole new hiring operating model brings everything together so that at the heart of it, you can hire brilliantly. So as we move forward in this space, that is our ultimate goal, to unlock brilliance in everything, every decision and your working worlds, and for our candidates too. So on that note, thank you for letting me yap and get really excited about future state and all the things that are possible. I'm going to hand over now to Devin, so the other half of the puzzle, and he's going to really bring this to life on the actual products that we've been working on. And I hope you're as excited about it as we are. Over to you, Devin.
Hello, thank you, Kat, very much. Hello, everybody. Yes, so I'm just going to start going through our very special product suite that we've been working on very hard the last year or so, or even longer. But I guess to set a little bit even more context, you're probably already very familiar with our core original product, which is Chat Interview. Chat Interview is built on the established natural language technology that allows candidates to answer structured interview questions in their own words, not with a cookie cutter CV or a resume. And we're not wavering from those principles. We're still building on those principles as we create powerful, exciting, and intelligent new AI tools that aren't simply automation, but instead we try to elevate you as a professional. So we do have some exciting new products we've been working on, and today we want to show you where those products fit into these key categories of brilliant. So to start off, let me introduce you to Jazz. Kat mentioned this briefly earlier. So Jazz is our Gen AI powered job analysis tool. Jazz reviews job application descriptions. You can upload a job description, and Jazz detects the key competencies that are important for you, and then generates a structured interview and structured interview questions aligned with those competencies. So essentially, Jazz transforms what used to be a very manual and offline job analysis into a guided structure and scalable experience. But to start off, we should be asking the question why? Why is Jazz so important? Well, I think Kat touched on this briefly before, but most hiring still really focuses on matching a candidate's past experiences with your job rec. You're not able to focus on the candidate's abilities or their potential. That means great candidates can get missed just because their job titles aren't what you expect or certain keywords aren't in their profile and they don't match what you're filtering for. But Jazz solves all those problems. All you have to do is upload a job description to Jazz, and it builds an entire assessment based on skills and behaviors. So again, Jazz transforms vague job descriptions into clear success profiles and relevant assessments that go beyond generic competencies. Jazz also builds the whole Sapia chat interview for you. And since Sapia's chat interview is based on capabilities, not just keywords or job titles, that allows you to uncover talent that you might otherwise miss. So let me actually show you a brief video of a Jazz workflow to show you how it would work. Let me see here. Okay, so here I am in Sapia's Talent Hub, and I'm going to create a new Jazz template. And here I can upload my job description right here. There are some other fields I can fill in as well to add some additional context, like for job context or experience levels or language. And I'm going to upload all this information here and have Jazz analyze it. There are some guardrails here just in case there's some additional information you want to add. But what Jazz will do is start creating the template for you. It'll name it, give you a job description, and verify that this is the job description that you uploaded. So we're going to take this, move to the next step, and identify the competencies that are in Jazz, or so that are in your job rec. So Jazz is looking at your job description, and it's identified the capabilities and the competencies that it believes are most important for your job description. And it identifies those competencies and aligns them with certain criticalities. But not only does it identify the criticalities, we still operate on a human in the loop level here, where you can disagree. You can say, no, I don't think this competency is critical. It may be just important to me. So you have the ability to verify and review the suggestions that Jazz gives to you. Once you do verify and review it, you just mark it as reviewed, and you can move on to the next step. Jazz is analyzing now, and Jazz is getting ready to generate questions based on those competencies. So here we are. Jazz has generated all the interview questions for you, based on the competencies and the criticality that you selected in the previous step. But again, human in the loop. We're verifying and being transparent by showing you why Jazz chose these questions for you. But if you still don't like it, you can generate a new question, and Jazz will do it for you again here. You can take a look at it, decide, not really what I want, so I'm going to undo that. What if you make it situational instead? Jazz will regenerate it for you, targeting a situational type question. You can take a look at it. That's pretty much good too, but I still don't like it. I'm going to undo that. Let me make it behavioral instead. Jazz will do it again. Give you a behavioral question. Pretty good, but not what I want. I want to write my question myself. You have the option to do that. But we still have to make sure that your question is targeting those competencies. So Jazz will verify your new question. And if it doesn't really target that competency, Jazz will give you a quick warning. Hey, this isn't going to work. You need to make sure you're targeting that competency. But once your question is good to go and verified, you can go through and start selecting those questions that target the competencies that you selected in the previous question. We need at least 6 questions here, and we need to have all of those competencies selected. But once that's done, and all of your questions are ready to go, we can verify them again and then move on to the next step. And here we have just a summary to make sure we're in the right place at the right time. All of the competencies that you selected, all of the questions that you selected are right here. You can make sure you're ready to go. And now Jazz can generate your entire chat interview for you. And here we are. So it normally took weeks to create a model and create a chat interview is ready to go in just a few minutes. All of this can be sent, will be published for your candidates, and you can even get a preview of what it would look like for your candidates when they go forward with the chat interview. Right? And when this is done, once again, human in loop, mark it as reviewed. Jazz pulls it all together. You're ready to go, and all you have to do is publish it. So again, what used to take weeks is now literally just a few minutes. So Jazz is currently in a limited early release, but we plan to open it up for general use to our Chat Pro platform in early 2026. Okay, so that is Jazz. Um, so once Jazz helps you identify your role and identify your candidates, you need to review those candidates. So in the past, that used to mean sifting through CV after CV or resume after resume, and that's not how it should be at all. Candidates can't show you who they truly are via CV, and you don't grow as a recruiter or a hiring manager by reading a stack of resumes. So that's where Sapia's next brilliant tool comes in. So let me introduce you to Talent Insights Pro, or TI Pro. TI Pro is your alternative to CVs. It's a comprehensive candidate intelligence report. It replaces traditional resumes with behavioral evidence, showing how candidates actually demonstrate critical skills, their practical knowledge. It also gives you recommended follow-up and interview questions to help structure your next steps with candidates. So again, what about the why? Why is this important? Why is TI Pro better than Talent Insight Classic? Well, TI Classic handled volume very well. But TI Pro moves beyond that. TI Pro can handle not only the volume, but it also brings the depth and explainability needed for more nuanced decisions, especially for more specialized roles like an early manager or a technical specialist. This is especially useful when you need to move beyond just a score, and you need to understand the why behind every recommendation. Like, why was this candidate recommended? Let's see here. So because TI Pro gives you the details that goes beyond just scores, you can make defensible hiring decisions with very transparent reasoning. Every score, every part of the assessment comes with evidence and proof. You can see exactly why a candidate ranked the way they did, and you have the proof and the breakdowns to empower you in your hiring decisions. You can rely on real candidate capabilities through an evidence-based assessment that eliminates biases. So let me attempt to log in and give you a quick sneak peek with TI Pro. So in this case, I'm in again in Talent Hub. And here you can see I have a list of candidates who've completed their chat assessments. And I can go in here, have a candidate selected, and let me make sure I get everything ready to go here. Okay, sorry. Right, here we go. So here, you can see our candidate here. We have our entire our summary of the candidate here in this TI Pro report. We have at the top here, we have our summary, how the very basic information that you can get from the candidate, their score assessment, where they stand in comparison to the other candidates in your pool. Then here in the summary section, we give you a very detailed explanation of the reasoning for this score and with evidence. What has this candidate actually achieved directly from their own words? We also have our key strengths area, which tells you why this candidate will succeed based on the capabilities they demonstrated in their chat and why they would make a good fit for your role. And on the flip side, we have the risk factors, which surface the honest gaps. So, what will this candidate need what kind of support will this candidate need? What are the gaps or areas of improvement that you would have to plan for if you brought this candidate in? Then moving a bit further down, we have our competency assessment. So remember in JAS where we selected our competencies, here we have how the candidate scored against those competencies. But not just the scores, we can dive deep and get an idea of, all right, why? What was the reason behind this score? Not just a number, but an actual explanation as to why the candidate received this. And then finally, going a bit further down, if you decided to insert multiple choice questions into your chat interview, you can see the candidate's responses here. Um, Similarly, on the same note, if a candidate, so you can see all the candidates' responses to the questions directly here as well. So you don't have to rely on just the scores. You actually can look and determine as a human what the candidate said and read it for yourself. And then finally, as a follow-up, we have recommended interview questions. If you decide to follow up with this candidate, what are the targeted questions you can ask that will get you the answers that you need? These are personalized questions that you can follow up with. These are questions based on the candidate's strengths, their weaknesses, and the development areas that the chat interview uncovered. And you get this detailed report for every single candidate who completes a Sapia chat interview. So ultimately, Talent Insights Pro provides what CVs can't. It provides real evidence of achievement, true strengths based on demonstrated capabilities, and it surfaces gaps showing where support is needed. And best of all, we tell you the reasons why a candidate is a good choice, and how we arrived at that decision. So that's where we believe this next step, in this next brilliant step for hiring is. We're finally replacing outdated CVs with real candidate information and real analysis. We're not making guesses based on a resume. We're listening to the candidate in their own words and assessing them in a fair and transparent way. Okay, so how do you tie all this together? How do you measure the impact of this new assessment and this new hiring flow? And how do you know that it's working? So that's where Discover Insights Pro comes in. So Kat also mentioned this before. Discover Insights is your intelligence dashboard, showing you what actually matters. And it's all in one place, Sapia's Talent Hub. Um, and again, going into the whys, why is this important? So when we looked into creating these insight dashboards, we didn't just want to make a lot of flashy pictures. We wanted to actually show you, we wanted to actually make sure we were measuring and visualizing what is truly important to you and to your hiring flow. So these data points and reports are not just vanity metrics, they're outcome metrics. Your dashboards give you a real-time visibility into aspects like the hiring funnel performance and the candidate experience and diversity outcomes. And I think what really drives us with Discover Insights is that we want you to have access to impactful information. Like, how long does it actually take to go from posting a role to a hire? Or how are you performing in your diversity uplift? Or how are candidates enjoying this whole hiring experience? You're actually able to answer these questions now with Discover Sites Insights dashboards. And you can find new opportunities for improvements to your hiring flow. So let me try to walk you through a our dashboards. Okay, do a quick refresh here. So again, I'm in Sapia's Talent Hub, and I'm in the Discover Insights tab here. Um, and I guess I should preface all this by saying, as I'm going through here, all of this data is anonymized and aggregated. So you can truly get the information you need, but you're never sacrificing your candidate's personal information to get it. Okay, so so let me just go through here quickly. On the executive summary tab right here, you can see your entire talent pool. And you can have controls here to filter through to break it down even more. You can go by dates or even the assessment model that you chose for those jobs or the job itself. So you have the full view of everybody in your candidate pool, or you can break it down to get more fine-tuned granularity insights. In the Candidate Love tab here, you can get a feel for how your applicants are engaging with Sapia's unique chat interview experience. And again, you can filter accordingly um, about how they're engaging with different aspects of the experience. In the experience effectiveness section, we shift focus back to you. So if candidate love shows Sapia's impact on the candidate, here we want to show you Sapia's impact on your flows. For example, what have you accomplished using Sapia's interview and assessment capabilities? What are the areas that we need to focus on or improve? Like, do you want to improve, for example, the amount of time candidates spend in a chat? Or for example, are your candidates really being themselves when they're going through the chat interview? Or are they mimicking responses from other sources? Or how are your candidates choosing to respond? What kind of devices are they using? So here is insights you can use to determine what can you improve, what can you change, what can you expound upon to make this whole experience better. And finally, we have our diversity section here, where again we have the opportunity to see which demographics are progressing and ensuring that we're maintaining diversity quotients. So again, we have our controls here, and but we also have the demographic groups where we can filter by gender, ethnicity, and age. And again, I want to emphasize that all of this demographic information is not part of the candidate assessment or their score. All of this is voluntary information. And again, this information is anonymized and it's aggregated, so you can be confident that you are reaching the right groups, but also know that your candidate's data and information is safe. So I also want to call out what I think is probably the best overall win you get with Discover Insights, and it's that you have real proof to back up your hiring decisions. And you always have a data-driven method to identify bottlenecks or gaps that you may never have known about. So ultimately, you can demonstrate confidence in every hiring decision that you make. So Discover Insights dashboard, along with the Talent Insights Pro, elevate you as a recruiter or a hiring manager. You are able to stay informed about your candidates, about your hiring process, using data and information that's relevant to you, because we sift through all the noise, go through all the clutter to give you a structured view of your candidate pool and your hiring pipeline. Both of these products, both Discover Insights and Talent Insight Pro, are available now on our Chat Pro platform. And if you need details about migrating from the classic platform to our Pro product suite, just reach out to your customer success manager. But there is one more exciting product that we have in store that elevates your ability to discover talent even more. And you may have noticed as I was scrolling through these pages here in Talent Hub, there's a little icon at the corner here. What's this? Well, that's the exciting bits. This is Tia. So, Tia is your smart recruiting assistant. Tia is a smart assistant who understands your candidates, past and present, your unique roles, and your hiring context. And because Tia understands your unique position, she can provide you with recommendations that no generic AI assistant could. So, like I said, Tia is an intelligent AI chat companion for making informed talent decisions. Tia sits natively in Sapia's Talent Hub and within supported ATSs. You can ask Tia questions in a natural language using your own words and still get the intelligent answers based within the context of your job recs. And remember, at Sapia, we don't believe in guesswork with candidates. So Tia's knowledge comes from the same knowledge base as our smart candidate scoring and assessment. So let me give you a brief video of an interaction with Tia. And like I mentioned, Tia is a smart chat assistant that sits within Sapia's Talent Hub. You can ask Tia something like, who in our pipeline would excel in this leadership role? And Tia interacts with you to achieve that task. She surfaces candidates to you based on behavioral matches, not keywords. And if you notice here in this demonstration, um, because we're always focused on ethical AI and transparency, you can see how Tia is making her decision. She engages with you like a teammate or a mentor. She doesn't talk down to you, as it were, just by giving you an answer and expect you to accept that answer at face value. Tia helps you find the answer, but also tells you why, which elevates you as a hiring professional. We are extremely excited about Tia. We're in demo and beta phases right now with Tia, and she will be available to our users on the Chat Pro platform in mid 2026. Okay, so in summary, if we zoom out to the full Sapia product suite here, the products that exist today, especially in Chat Classic, that's the core area we focused on in the past. The products that live in your ecosystem today and the tools in your workflows like chat interview and assessments, those are in the middle there. That's been our focus. But now we're moving beyond this. We're expanding out into new aspects of hiring, into process improvement, and we're elevating you in areas like defining your job recs and discovering great talent in your candidate pools. So, coming next and soon is extending that brilliance across more areas of the hiring lifecycle. At the front, we have Jazz, which is coming very, very soon, like I mentioned earlier. And down the line, we have Concierge, which is targeting more engagement and support on your career sites. And then at the other end of the delivery plan, we'll be continuing to power the talent lifecycle with career coach for candidates. We want to help candidates grow. We want them to achieve the roles that they want, and that's where career coach will come in. So, all that being said, that brings us to the end of the product showcase. We want to thank you very much for joining us today. We are super excited to be able to show you everything we've been working on and to include you on our product development journey. You are our users and we build for you. So we appreciate your feedback about what you like, what are other areas of your flows that you would like us to help you in, and where we can continue to make you brilliant. And on that note, I have two asks of you. One, if you could take 5 minutes, please, to leave us a review on G2. Helps us grow our brand and share the Sapia love with more clients. Leaving a review is really quick. There's now a voice feature actually where you can chat with a G2 AI assistant, and it only takes around 5 minutes to complete. If you do so, you'll get a 25 US dollar gift card voucher. It's a global choice voucher, so you can redeem it for Amazon or IKEA or other retailers. Just scan the QR code to leave a review. I can definitely tell you that our marketing and engagement teams will be very, very happy if you do so. So a big thank you on their behalf. And finally, one last thing. We work with a lot of incredible brands and incredible users like you. You are ahead on the AI curve, but we understand that technology moves really fast, and there's always something new to learn and always something new to understand. So in 2026, we'll be doing more of these user community engagements, bringing you together to learn, to grow, and to connect. And on that note, we want to help you to learn. And we would want to know, well, what do you want to learn about? What about AI and technology would you like to know and understand more about? So, with your feedback, we can begin to build a learning community focused around teaching concepts and tools that matter to you. So, after this session, well, there will be a quick survey with a few short questions to make sure we build this learning community right. And we'd love to get to know what you want to learn from us. And with that being said, again, thank you again very much for joining us. Thank you again, Kat and Chloe and Laura, for everybody's support in all of this. Thank you for joining us. If you have questions, please let us know. But thank you, everybody.
Thanks so much.